Hey Eurovision fans, Napa will represent Portugal in Eurovision 2025 with their song Deslocado. I'm going to listen back to the live national final performance, give you my analysis of the song, the artist and the staging, and see if this could qualify Portugal for the Eurovision final. So, let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So first of all, in case you want to see my very first unadulterated first reaction to Napa's song, I already did a video where I reacted to all 20 songs in Festival da Canção. I thought this year was pretty decent. Festival da Canção is a sleepy national final. That is just what it is, which is cool. I like that it has this really unique, special vibe. It's not trying to conform. It's not trying to be like any other national final. They do their own thing. You could also say it's very calming. It's very relaxing. There's positive aspects to how chill it is, and what a strong cultural identity Festival da Canção has in that they keep to their own musical style. Sounds totally different from every other national final. I can't think of any other national final that sounds remotely similar to Festival Canção at all. Really crazy situation here this year with Festival da Canção, where we had two huge favorites. The two huge favorites were Henka and Josh, and I think that was the reason why Portugal were as high as 5th in the winning odds for Eurovision 2025. And then Fernando Daniel, who's quite a big star in the country, started getting a lot of momentum and people talking about him as well. And then to me, as someone not living in Portugal, it felt like a little bit of an outsider that Napa kind of came from nowhere and won. They came 4th with the jury, and I'm going to read you out their jury scores here. 2 points, 7 points, 5 points, 5 points, 0 points, 12 points, and 7 points. So from 7 juries, they got 1 top 3 placing. These votes were all over the place. I'll put the scoreboard up here, but you can see this gigantic spread. And you can see Adamastor got 2 12s and then 4 zeros. Coldavia, by far the most consistent one, getting 5 top 3 placings amongst the 7 juries. But yeah, like, this is just craziness that these juries are just not agreeing. I'm not saying we want all juries to agree, but like, this is chaos. And then in the televote, they came 2nd, getting 21% of the vote. The favorite was Henka, who got 30% of the vote, but got 0 converted jury points. So the jury eliminated her. This is one of the reasons I hate the conversion system. If you look at this, basically everybody below Margarita has been eliminated. With this conversion system, we never see anyone outside of the top 4 or 5 win. It's basically like an internal selection with steps, where the public see all these songs and then the jury eliminate all but 4 or 5 of them. Because you look at Henka, they gave her by far the most televotes. Doesn't matter because she had 0 points from the jury. Impossible for her to win. So I hate the converted system. I hate it here. I hate it in Ukraine. I hate it in Lithuania. I hate it when Germany does it as well. It's basically a way to eliminate half the songs without the public fully realizing, I hate it, throw it in the bin. Anyway, this is a very rare situation where we have someone winning a national final without winning the jury or the tie. By the way, I'm not hating on Napa. They didn't invent this system. They literally just put forward their song and this is what happened. Festival Canção chose this system. Anyway, a little bit of chaos in Festival Canção. Doesn't matter. In the end, Napa are the winners, fair and square. Let's find out a little bit about them. They're a 5-piece band from Madeira in Portugal. I think Madeira is one of the islands, isn't it? It's an archipelago in the North Atlantic Ocean. There's a board game called Madeira, which I tried to play once, but it was too complicated. Yeah, it's like off the west coast of Morocco. So super cool. If Portugal somehow win, maybe we can all go to Madeira for Eurovision. That'd be fun. And we have 5 male members. They are Diogo, Francisco, How, and How. 3 Hows. I think How is Portuguese John, isn't it? Portuguese people, tell me down below. And they've been going since 2013, so they've been together for 12 years. They started under the name Men on the Couch, which is actually a pretty epic name, I'm not gonna lie. And their inspirations are Arctic Monkeys, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the Beatles. I think I remember this song from when I did the national final. I had like Beatles vibes. And they've released a couple of albums that went to 49th and 181st in the Portuguese chart, so by no means super established. But Deslocado has gone to #1 in Portugal. I believe this song was pretty viral in Portugal. It went viral particularly with students. Some Portuguese people told me that. I'm going to be reacting to the national final performance. I'm going to leave in as much of the original audio and visuals as I'm allowed. If I need to make changes, I'll put it up onto my Patreon. Okay, I haven't seen this performance before, so this is my first ever watch. Napa Deslocado, wanna know Mr. Bang. So I'm kind of excited for this actually. I hope. Ooh. Super Portuguese beginning. Quite different as well. Up close portrait of him, looking almost like he's sleeping at the start and wakes up. And styling wise, they look super different as well. These kind of 70s inspired clothes, kind of browns, looking a little bit like wallpaper. Oh, this stage looks very different than I expected. Oh, I love his jacket. That's really pretty. Super chill mood. Feels very different. Nothing much happening on the LEDs, on the pillars. It's very mellow, very chill. Relaxing. It's a relaxing song. Until I like those oranges and pink. I actually like orange and pink as a color palette for them. I feel like that pops and it ties in with the feel of the song. And it gives that 70s feel, that 60s Beatles feel as well. Are they in the same semi-final as Catharsis? Because I feel there's a little bit of overlap in terms of the staging. Yeah, it's a very chill song, not going for big fireworks. Salvador Sobral would love it. It's not a big bam wow song. It's very relaxed, very lovely. They're in a different semi-final, thank God. I think that'll help them. Okay, some cool visuals here. I love that pink Christmas tree behind. We're getting lots of people walking. It's not a super exhilarating staging, let's be real. So it's sitting very much into this mood. I really like their jackets. Like, I would wear that jacket. They're so nice. All their styling is really pretty. And really nice having a song in Portuguese. Portugal are very good at maintaining their language. Beautiful rising orange there. There's some nice stuff in the LEDs. And a little bit more energy and excitement towards the end. It's really welcome because it's kind of sleepy at the start. But this is a nice mix-up. It's very sweet. It's a lovely song, undeniably. Nice bit of eye contact there at the end because his eyes are closed for a lot of the performance. Very, very nice. First impression of the song is it is unique, definitely. And you know, Portugal are so good at just doing their own thing and not trying to fit in with a gimmick or what won last year or what's working well at Eurovision. They're like, F that. They really don't give an F. They're literally going to sound whatever they want in a similar way to that Spain do. You know, Spain recently have been saying we just want to sound what we want, which is cool in some ways and a little bit frustrating in others, particularly when I felt like Spain has had songs that could do really, really, really well. We're not going to go on a Spain rant. Let's focus on Portugal. Portugal kind of doing a similar thing where they're always going to be unapologetically Portuguese. That song is 100% Portuguese. Like, there's no doubt if you played that for me, even if you translated the lyrics into English, and you played that song for me and you said, where is it from? Portugal would be my first, second, third, fourth, and fifth answers. I would be like all in, all of my money. I would bet my house on it. It just has that super quintessentially Portuguese fingerprint. And nobody else is going to send a song like this. Nobody can pull it off. Nobody would think to send something this Portuguese. They're the only ones who can do that. So I like that. I like that they do their own thing. I feel like there are other songs that could have been more competitive strong in the national final. Let's just address that now. I'm a little bit disappointed that neither Josh or Henke went for the simple reason that I want to see Portugal get another top 5 result. You know, they've only been in the top 5 once in their entire Eurovision history since 1964, and that was when they won with Salvador Sobral. So they've never been in the top 5 other than that. I love seeing new countries in the top 5. I think it makes the contest more interesting. It makes it more competitive that we have more countries who are competing for the win. So that's why I was really excited when I saw Portugal win the top 5. I was like, maybe this could be a really special year for them. But it didn't happen. Josh and Henke didn't win. That's what Portuguese people wanted. That's what the jury chose. They've chosen Napa. So I'm over that. But I'm just explaining I was a little bit disappointed at the start. This is why I sometimes wait a little bit of a while before I do my videos. So I don't want that kind of like dark cloud over the video. This is a lovely entry. It's really, really, really sweet, but it's not competitive to be a winner like maybe some of the other songs were. There's more to Eurovision than just winning. It's not just about getting into the top 10, the top 5. I would love Portugal to get their second top 5 finish ever, but they are showing off their music scene. That's also a victory. There's lots of positives to this. And if you look at actually their Portuguese record, only time they didn't send a song in Portuguese was the Black Mamba in 2021. Portugal have always sung in Portuguese, and I really, really, really do like that. Let's have a look at the lyrics, because I do associate Festival da Canção, very similar to Sanremo, that you have to have good lyrics. You can't get away with love from above. I wish some of the other national finals would up the judging of people when they deliver shitty lyrics. Okay, Deslocado, which means displaced. I'm counting down the days to myself with my suitcase packed, almost didn't fit the accumulated saudade. We have to have a little bit of saudade in the Portuguese song. I can see the garden from the blue just behind the wing. Mum, look out the window. So I think they're talking about being in a plane there. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. No matter how it may seem, I'll never belong to that city. The sea of people, the different sun, the pile of concrete doesn't provoke me. It doesn't feel like home. Really, really, really beautiful meaning. I think they're talking about, going to live abroad for a short period and coming home and feeling that warm feeling of things that are familiar to you. I love that lyric, the different sun. That's a really, really lovely lyric because obviously it's the same sun, but it just doesn't feel the same when you're in a different place. I always feel that when I go back to Ireland, I feel so comfortable just knowing everything. I feel so relaxing, all these familiar restaurants and roads and everything. It's definitely something that people from anywhere can relate to. Small concern is that 99% of people watching this aren't going to understand these lyrics. We'll talk about it when that comes to the staging, but they are very nice lyrics, so it's a little bit of a shame. Because I came from far away, I came from the middle of the sea, Madeira, which we just learned about. In the heart of the ocean, I have my whole life. I make my way thinking of returning to my home island, peace, Madeira. Okay, he literally mentions Madeira, so there's no ambiguity there. If I explain it to you word by word, you'll never understand the pain that silences me, the loneliness that haunts the moment of departure. Really, really love it. And, me as someone who's working remotely and moving around all the time, I get very homesick and I yearn to be in these familiar places. I can totally relate to these lyrics. They're really, really sweet. Beautiful lyrics. Like some of my favorite this season. Immediately go into staging now because it's going to be relevant with that. I think they need to get the meaning of the song across a little bit better because this is such a lovely meaning and it's so universal. The amount of people who, through choice or through necessity, have to go abroad for work or for travel or whatever. And then this homesickness and wanting to come back to all these things that are familiar and be with people who know and understand you. Super, super universal. But I just think that with that staging, 99% of people are just not going to get that. I didn't get that. You could see I was focusing on the clothes. I was focusing on his way of singing. I like some of the LEDs. I was not getting homesickness. I wasn't getting being displaced. Obviously, that staging was for Festival da Canção, where the audience does understand the lyrics. So you don't have to kind of like paint it on the back LED like they're children because they can just listen to it and hear. I think that the staging needs to be changed quite a lot for Eurovision if they want to be competitive. I think if they can get this displaced, I don't know why, but it just popped into my head, that Romanian song. That was in Romanian. What was that called again? That was about displacement as well, wasn't it? Yes, it was Voltai, Deslocado. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that song was about it. I think they had suitcases all over the stage. And that actually came 5th in the semi-final and then 15th in the final. So that is one example of how you can do, assuming I've got the meaning right, a staging about homesickness and having to travel. So something like that could just be a bit more imaginative. But yeah, like the current staging doesn't work. I actually love their outfits. I would 100% wear pretty much everything they wear. I didn't like the lead singers as much, but those jackets they had with this kind of faded sepia imprint, oh, so nice. So I definitely think keep those. The staging concept right now is them rocking out on stage, which is super similar to Lithuania, but Lithuania is in the other semi-final, so they don't need to worry about that. It's a little bit similar as well to Zifferblatt, who is in their semi-final and is in their half. So I do think they need to differentiate themselves a bit from that. Watch Ukraine's national final staging and be different. Ukraine has a little bit more energy. Maybe Portugal should just accept, okay, we're going to be the chiller version. Just be conceptually different from Ukraine because you don't want to go head to head with one of the stronger Televote countries. But yeah, get the meaning across. Keep those warm colors. I love the oranges, the pinks and purples, and the sepia colors. I think that's nice, giving us like sunset feel. Slight, like the sepia makes me feel a little bit of longing, yearning as well. I think that staging of Festival da Canção won't qualify. I just think it's too simple. The storytelling isn't enough. They need to do a little bit to fill in the blanks for the majority of people. Some people watch Eurovision with subtitles, but I think most don't. I never do. I think literally all of casuals don't know what a song is about before they go into it. Like I think 99.99%, unless the commentator explicitly explains it to them, which I think they don't do for most of the time. This delegation needs to do some translation. Okay, so do I think this can qualify? One thing I say about the Portuguese delegation is they've been really fantastic in the last 4 years. 4th, 4th, 9th, and 8th qualifying. But, Mimicat e Corsau was difficult. I think they were 5th in the running order, but that was a tough semi-final. And then Yolanda Grito, again, beautiful song, but it was always going to be more favored by the jury. So they had a little bit of a difficult thing there and they came 8th because they did a beautiful job. Now that staging was already done. They just literally had to copy and paste. Whereas I don't think they can get away with copy and pasting Napa staging. I think this needs, I'm not saying to completely change it, but they need that staging plus. It needs to be elevated and needs a story. You know, even the image of Madeira, like, can we get an image of Madeira on the back or some island or something? Give us a sense of traveling or going home or family. It doesn't have to be like so in your face. It can be a bit subtle. But I think the LEDs right now are like people walking. I just wasn't getting the meaning of the story at all. It just went totally over my head. But yeah, I think the Portuguese delegation have shown that they are great at creating a vibe. They're great at doing their own thing, not copying people. And their results in the last 4 years, 12th, 9th, 23rd, and 10th. So 3 top 12 finishes. They know what they're doing. I think this is the most difficult of these 5. Love is on my side. Sadate, Sadate, Ao Coração, and Grito. I just think those are easier songs to sell to the public. They've got more televote appeal. I think all of those as well. I'm pretty sure all of those at least won the jury or the televote. They're dealing with the song that didn't win either. Like, the jury and the televote don't always get things right. Like, keep in mind that Salvador Sobral did not win his televote in 2017. He was second in his televote. The winner was Viva la Diva, which definitely wouldn't have won Eurovision. So the televoters almost voted out a winning song. So, but yes, I feel like this is the most difficult thing since Elisa Medo de Sentir in 2020 for the Portuguese delegation to work with. But they've got a good record, so I think it's possible. My gut instinct right now is this is a borderline no. It's in the first half. I think that Ukraine stamps on its toes quite a bit. We've also got Klemen from Slovenia, who's also doing a camera vibe, but I think is going to be doing something a little bit more exciting. It definitely has the chill niche all to itself, but I just don't know how many of those people are watching Eurovision this year. And you look at something like Sadate Sadate, which also had a chill niche, but for me was just a stronger package, like just stronger song. Forget all the niche stuff. It's like, is the song good enough? It's got something to work with, but it's just not as strong as Grito or Sadate Sadate. Are people going to remember this when they get to the end of what is a very crazy, attention-grabbing semi-final? Keep in mind, Switzerland's here as well. So Switzerland's doing chill, and Italy's doing chill, potentially in a more appealing way. It's tough, but not impossible. If this makes it through to the final, how do I think it could do? Well, I'm a little bit concerned it did so bad with the jury in Portugal, but generally you would think this is a pretty jury-appealing song. And if we look at Portugal's results recently, they do better with the jury than the televote. That's their pattern in recent years. So I would expect that to continue. I think this would do pretty mid-table with the jury. I don't expect to make it into the top 10 with its current form. Televote, I don't think this is going to do very well. I think you've got songs like Switzerland, Italy, Greece. Yeah, I would expect this to be in the bottom 8, 5 for the televote. And overall, maybe getting a similar result to Mimi Cat. Yeah, she was 23rd. I don't know, maybe anything between like 17th and 22nd. But I think like getting through to the final would be good, considering the kind of negative reception that this had in the community after the result, because so many people were disappointed about Henke and Josh not making. Let's check out the odds and see how this is doing. And Portugal are currently in 28th. I agree with that. I think there's literally 0% chance of this winning. But Portugal were as high as 5th for 3 days in late February. And then as soon as this was picked, they dropped from 12th. Okay, and let's say this is doing on the Eurovision scoreboard, and we can see this is in 29th spot. Not a great sign. I don't think the Eurofans is a target audience for this. I think it's people who are looking for something different, calm, nostalgic, timeless. Anyone who can connect with the storyline if they convey the storyline correctly. The other thing about Ukraine as well is it has a very similar storyline. Ukraine is also talking about welcoming people back to Ukraine. People who've had to flee, a similar thing of returning to the homeland. I think they really need to differentiate themselves from Ukraine to get a good televote. Okay, that's what I thought about Napa singing Deslocado. What did you think? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and buy me coffee. If you think I need an espresso latte, I'll leave a QR code for you here and a link in the description. Thank you to those who've been supporting me from all around the world on my Patreon. On my Patreon, you can get the original audio and visuals. You can get some early releases and you can support the channel. Go check it out if you're fan. But of course, thank you so much just for being here. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't talk properly. I've seen another Eurovision reaction video soon. Bye.